Nottingham Forest currently sits 17th place after 30 games with 22 points, same amount of points as 18th place Luton Town. They've just been hit with countless FFP charges. How did Nottingham Forest get to this position? They just got promoted. Well, they had a whole season last season, and the season before that, in the 21-22 season, they got promoted from the Championship as they finished in 4th place with 80 points.
What's he getting? That tastes like promotion!
However, when they came to the Premier League, you could argue that their team was extremely just no depth, and there just were not enough. It was not enough quality. If they didn't make any signings at all, it would have been like the worst team in the whole Premier League history, or even worse than the Derby team. Nottingham Forest have now been hit with countless PSR rule breaches, which is basically like the financial side of football. Basically, you know, it's the same thing that Manchester City broke, and Everton. Everton have been fighting through their points deduction, though. Of course, they got one earlier in the season, and now there's talks of them getting another one, which could see them getting relegated, on my 18th place prediction at the start of the season being correct. Manchester City obviously have 115 of these. However, no, we're not going to deal with that. We're going to deal with Nottingham Forest first, because they're Nottingham Forest. What I've just said is the thinking of the Premier League, like, higher ups, clearly. Last season, I mean, looking at how many players they signed, like, in their debut season, they signed 17 players, which is crazy. I mean, looking at it, they've spent 195 million euros, which it's about 170 million pounds on new recruits, which, if that doesn't give you a hint that something is going on, it should, to be honest. That's 37 signings, actually. Where I got 17 from, nobody will know. And they only sold players worth 5 million euros, which means they lost 190 million euros on terms of signings. That is a crazy hint that something was going wrong. So, I mean, we cannot be surprised that Nottingham Forest have been hit with all these FFP breaches, but why now? Like, Manchester City have been left punished less. No, have not been penalised for all their 115. But Nottingham Forest, of course, they have to deal with this now. It was going to be more. I think it was going to be 6 points. However, Nottingham Forest have appealed multiple times, and they've got it down to 4 points, which right now would see them getting relegated. And with the schedule they kind of have, like, I think they'll still survive, though, because Luton Town have an extremely tough schedule, and Everton as well. So, yeah. In their debut season, they signed Morgan Gibbs-White for 29.5 million euros. Awoniyi, good striker from Union Berlin, for over 20 million. Danilo from Palmeiras, which I made a video about, 20 million euros. Neco Williams, 20 million euros. Emmanuel Dennis from Championship side Watford for almost 15 million euros. Mangala for 13 million. With all of this, they achieved a pretty comfortable, I'll say pretty, I'll emphasize the pretty comfortable 16th place finish in the Premier League, getting to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup and being eliminated in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. Not too bad of a debut season. However, it's all gone downhill this season. This season, they've only, and I say only very, very lightly, only spent 131 million euros on players, and they sold 82 million worth of players, so they only lost 48 million. I say only very generously again, that's still a lot. Obviously, they would have gotten that back from ticket sales, merch, all that, but you have Ibrahim Sangare as their most expensive signing for 35 million. He has won AFCON just previously, and he is not a bad player at all. I'd say that's a smart signing, 100%. Anthony Elanga from United for 17.5 million. Interesting. Chris Wood. His market value is 8 million, and they bought him for 17 million. How are you signing a 30-year-old Chris Wood for 17 million euros? You also have two centre backs in Omar Bamidele, for 12.5 million from Norwich, and youngster Morella, to be fair, he's one of my favourite centre backs right now, like prodigies. He is a good centre back. Though Nottingham Forest are looking to sell him now, so that, they don't actually get the full points deduction. Well, or has he offered to be sold? I can't remember exactly, but they signed him for 12 million. They spent 21 million alone on goalkeepers this season. 3 of them. Many players have left the club as well, and with this, Nottingham Forest are getting a lot of uncertainty as players are going in and out, constantly leaving. You don't really get a sense of the team itself, which could be a major factor in why they're struggling this season. They're looking to replace 51-year-old Nuno Espirito Santo right now after a poor run of games. I think this uncertainty with players is a key factor in why they're struggling this season. They're constantly players in and out, and it's just much different to an Arsenal or Chelsea, their starting 11 from this season, 10 out of the 11 players are the same as last season as well. So that's just giving them time to gel and improve. We know Nottingham Forest are struggling. They obviously sacked Steve Cooper earlier, which, about time. However, all this uncertainty and all these FFP breaches could see Nottingham Forest go down. Do you think this is just crazy how they're dealing with Nottingham Forest and not Manchester City, or do you think that this is fair enough because Man City is too complex of a case?